Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have another amazing guest. And this is somebody who's been highly recommended by lots of other people on my show, and also been recommended by people who hasn't been on my show and goes, "Hey, you have to get him on. You have to get him on." So I'm very excited to have him here. He's been helping a lot of people all over the world. Becoming more successful, more healthy, and of course, when you're more healthy, you're more happy. So it's always a joy to speak to people like him. And he's been empowering a lot of individuals all around the world to transform their emotional programs and unlock their innate healing potential. He's the author of three books: The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude, Awakening to the Secret Code of Your Mind, and The Daily Lessons of Infinite Love and Gratitude, which is, I believe, for kids, which is always great to get them started young, right?
Mhm.
He's also been featured on a few films and also documentaries: Emotion, Making Mankind Beyond Belief, and Heal. Like I said before, he's out there helping people heal, helping people with self-improvement, helping people with conscious living, which all benefits towards more happier living and more successful living as well. So please welcome chiropractic, holistic physician, visionary thinker, leading expert in consciousness, the developer of LifeLine technique, and a best-selling author, Dr. Darren Weissman.
What an introduction, Fong. Thanks so much, brother.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Always a
Yeah,
joy to speak
my
with very successful people like yourself
my
and
pleasure.
people who understand the importance of self-healing and self-consciousness.
Yeah.
But before we get into all those details, what got you to where you are today? What got you to become this leading expert in consciousness?
Persistence, determination, commitment, passion, discipline, and as in anyone who's really doing the work, the trials and tribulations of real life, that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And so I suffered as a kid with my health physically in many ways, allergies, asthma, um, having surgeries to have tubes put in my ears, rush to the hospital for asthma attacks, different things like that. And I struggled with learning as a kid. And when I'm 56 years young, and when I grew up, they didn't have ways of evaluating children as far as learning. So I had massive learning disabilities, and I, as a result, suffered with low self-esteem and insecurity. And that led to a bout of addiction for a long time in my life that ultimately I was either going to go down a path that was going to knock me out of this thing called life, or I was going to wake up. And I had, as a result of just finding chiropractic. I was going to be a medical doctor, but I didn't like the concept of taking a pill for every symptom. And I found chiropractic, which just opened up a door. And then Fong, what happened is one door opened up after another door. I found Chinese medicine and acupuncture and five element theory and kinesiology and homeopathy and the aspect of trauma and the mind and neurolinguistic programming. And I just became so almost insanely crazy passionate about learning natural ways to activate what is innate within each and every one of us, that we're all self-healing organisms and that we're here to shine like you. We're here to shine in this world. Doesn't mean that we don't have stress, but we're here to shine. And so on June 17th, and that was in 2002, I had a moment of clarity that all the things that I was passionately searching for and studying and discovering came together in a vision. And I wrote out the vision, and that vision is this flow chart behind me. And that flow chart it's a map. It's a blueprint of our invisible, unconscious, subconscious mind. It's an integration of all these different systems. And I've been passionately sharing it for the past 23 years. I've been in practice as a chiropractor, acupuncturist, kinesiologist for 32 years, but I I'm no longer a regular chiropractor as far as I love to adjust people. I love it. I love it. I love putting needles in people. But now I work with the mind. Now I work with the mind in the role that it plays in healing, the role that it plays in being able to stay present and choose love in the face of life's fears that we all go through. And so I have ultimately now been guiding people through the LifeLine certification training program. I do one-on-one coaching for high-level individuals. I've trained people in 24 countries around the world with this very unique system that works specifically on the subconscious mind. And maybe we'll delve into why that might be important to work on a subconscious level. I think more these days than ever, people are aware that the subconscious mind's very valuable to be in harmony with versus out of harmony with.
That's right. Well, you've dropped it already, so we'll probably dive into that a bit later. But before we get there, I wanted to know because like I've had a couple of other chiropractors on the show before and healers before, and the thing is, so many people out there are they're so fixated on the quick fix. They go and see a doctor, they want a pill, they want something to ingest right away. Why is it so difficult, or why is it so uncommon for people to just go, you know what, the first person I'm going to go talk to is a healer, or the first person I'm going to go talk to is a chiropractor? Why is that not commonplace?
That's just the culture that we live in at this point. But um, I think even further than go see a chiropractor or whatever, I think the first person we go to is ourselves, and that we start to become very aware that our body is always giving us a feedback mechanism, that we live in a sickness-based world versus a healthcare-based world. And so because of that, we look outside of ourselves to attempt to fix things. But yet, and it's not that medicine doesn't have its place. It has its place. Pharmaceuticals have its place. It's just a different way to go about doing it. Yet intrinsically, within each and every one of us is a code, is a specific design, like the formation of the constellations of the stars. There's a design to how the body recognizes pathogens, how the body digests food, how we take in oxygen and produce energy, and how cells naturally turn over and regenerate. There's a way to access that code, yet that's invisible. And because we live in a sickness-based world, and that's evolving, more people are doing yoga and meditating and doing different things. People are more open to be curious and more open to maybe reach out to a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, a coach,
Mhm.
which is really great. Yet there's, you know, people oftentimes would come to me and they've been diagnosed with something really serious, like stage 4 cancer. And they're like, you're my last hope. And I'm like, no, I'm not your last hope. I'm like, I can be a part of your dream team. I'm like, but I'm not your last hope. Like, and I want to specifically speak of cancer. It's so important for people to understand that everything has its place. Yet, when we start to understand the body and the mind and the spirit are all a part of our journey versus just it's the body, just it's the mind, just it's some level of soul connection. When we start to recognize the holistic approach, it really becomes an empowering and beautiful adventure of living our life throughout all of our life. We don't get somewhere and live happily ever after where we no longer have symptoms. Everybody has symptoms. Everybody has something they're healing from. We all do, all the time, on one level or another. But the body's designed to heal, and the understanding of that is more than ever available to people. So many self-help books, so many different people doing really good work. Um, and it's changing. So it's a good question that you're asking, and it is. And I feel like people like you doing what you're doing and giving people a platform like myself or other people that are doing the healing work is really, it's so important to this evolution of human consciousness.
It's very, very important because lots of people don't put the emphasis on that type of like self-healing and that consciousness and being present in mind. And when you're not there, eventually you'll burn out. Eventually you'll be burning the candles on both ends and you go, hey, I wonder why, how did I get here? Well, that's because you did focus on these things at the beginning. Now, there's lots of people out there who recognizes, okay, we need a change, but there's so many of these limiting beliefs. There's so many of these myths that people say, and people who really don't understand what you do, they tell them these stories or they tell them these things that makes them question it again. So what are the most common myths, common misconceptions, common things that people say that actually aren't true that you help people with?
I'm not enough. My dad had this or my mom had this, and so this is just the way it is. I grew up on the wrong side of the track because I'm a woman, because I'm a man, because I'm from this place or not from that place. People, the myth is that it's somehow outside of us. That's the ultimate myth. It's outside of us. You know, the truth and the challenge of the truth is nobody perceives truth. People perceive what they believe. So the ultimate core limiting belief is to, buy in that, I'm not enough because I was sick as a kid and I had addiction and I went through a divorce or I went through this financial challenge, and we start to box ourselves in, and that's the ultimate myth. The ultimate myth is that the matrix of our programmed world boxes us into being less than and then putting our power into something or someone in some way. And once again, it's bridging back to what we were talking about just a second ago. There's a place for everything. There's a place for everything. And what would it mean to, hey, have a diagnostic evaluation from a medical doctor? Go for it. Absolutely do that. Have that be a part of it. Yet that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just what we're consciously aware of. How's your diet? How's your water? How's your sleep? Are you moving your body? How are you expressing what you really feel? Are you living your passion? And what type of memories are living inside of you? And all this stuff is just below the surface. So the myth is that we judge the book by its cover, and that there's something so much more to any level of pain or stress that is going on. There's purpose and there's intelligence in the wisdom of something that is a stuck feeling, or let alone a sick body or a struggling relationship. There's something more to it. And that's hard when you can't see it in the moment and you've only been trained a particular way. Fong, I like skepticism. I'm a skeptic. I am. I am a skeptic. And because I kept on going, why do I have to adjust people over and over again? Why is this C1 adjustment not holding? Why do I have to do this acupuncture pattern again and again? Why is this homeopathic remedy? Why is this vitamin deficiency? Why is this person dependent upon this medication? How come? How come? And as a result of just being curious and skeptical, which I think is healthy, as long as we're open to listen and to discover and have our own internal experience, I find skepticism to be very healthy. Because what I do with people, for people that don't have any idea, I don't really care if people agree with it or not. I don't care at all. If people are like, well, that doesn't matter to me. I'm no longer here. I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. I have discovered after doing 100,000 sessions with people plus that I know it works, and people that are ready, and the people that aren't, that's okay. Find your own thing. And but there's a lot of people that are hungry. There's a lot of people that want something more for their own self or for their clients, as a therapist, as a coach, as a doctor, as a holistic enthusiast. There's a lot of people that are hungry. So the people that are hungry, that's who I love it. But stay skeptical, though. I think that's a great thing.
And I think that's also very, very important. I mean, it's funny how people understand that in sports, you need a coach, you need a nutrition coach, you need
Right,
this, and this.
right.
But when it comes to their own health, it's, oh, doctor, oh, doctor, oh, doctor. You have to have that flexibility, that open-mindedness to
Yeah.
connect with different people, the healers, the nutritionists, the chiropractors, to all work together. I like how you said that you're not the last hope. You're
No.
one piece of many, and it's that collaboration that makes everything happen. Now, in your personal journey, you talked about how you went through lots of trials and tribulations, lots of challenges, lots of sickness, and then you went into chiropractic. And then from there, you went into all these other things because it opened up your world. At what point did you realize that, wow, once I got all this aligned, this specific thing changed? And therefore, you know that it's because of all these things being in harmony together that worked for you. What was that moment?
Oh, dude, you're good at this. You are really great. That is such a wonderful question. I had and still do have a dear friend, Dr. Thomas Bain. I had invited him over to work in my clinic that I was opening up. He was living in Belgium with his wife, Dr. Ingrid. And I'm like, hey, Tom, I'm opening up a new clinic. Would you be interested in moving to the United States and working my clinic? And he's like, you know what? Ingrid and I were thinking about moving, and Chicago is actually one of the places. I'm like, well, imagine that, right? And so he's like, yeah. And so after some conversation and some details in the fabric, he moved over, and him and I had a concept. And the concept was we called it the big idea. It was the big idea. We knew that he was a functional medicine guru, just really understanding the nature of biochemical imbalances and nutrition and different diagnostics to appreciate the subtle yet extreme imbalances that we have and how to do that. And I worked on more of the energetic and life force and aspect of mind body. And we had this idea that there's got to be a way to bridge it all together.
Right.
And we called it the big idea. So we would get together and we'd go out to eat. We'd have a yummy meal. And one day, June 17th, 2002, I'm at his house with my fiance, and Ingrid goes, so boys, where's the big idea? And and she goes, the only thing that I have big right now is this. And what she was holding up was a credit card bill. She goes, every time you guys get together, you have like these expensive meals. And where's your big idea? And Tom's like, well, we just haven't come up with it yet. And she looks me in the eye and she goes, Darren, do you want to know the truth? I said, Ingrid, what are you talking about? She goes, do you want to know the truth of why you haven't come up with this big idea? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you're just too afraid. You're just too afraid of how powerful it will be. And as you can tell, I don't oftentimes have a loss of words, but I had a loss of words. I did not know what to say at that point. I'm like, she just looked me in the soul and she just saw a part of me that was caught up in my shadow. And I'm like, it was great hanging out with you. We'll see you later. And so I'm pacing the floor in my house and I'm hearing Ingrid's voice in my mind. You're just too afraid. You're just too afraid. And I had a moment where fear met faith straight on. And thank God, faith won. And it was in that moment of just facing the fear of I'm just too afraid. And it's been a journey. I've been what has it been? Commitment, persistence, determination. I saw how it all came together. And that literally was a moment where I literally wrote out everything that I'd studied, everywhere I'd traveled, all the different things that I had, all these different incredible practitioners and doctors and gurus. I just saw how it came together. And, has it been just a straight to the moon process? No, I've been committed to sharing something that I've known is to be true. I made up my own profession. People now are certified LifeLine practitioners. What the heck does that mean? What does that mean? It's like I made up my own profession, and I feel so blessed because it makes me emotional because it's so powerful to actually have somebody create transformational change all with one thing, brother, all with one thing, and that one thing is love. Love heals. Love transforms thoughts of it, feelings of it, words of it, intention of it. So this entire system is all based upon love and the healing energy and the chemistry of love and the consciousness of love. It's like it's so wild. It's like, how do I even explain that? It sounds like, oh, this is so stupid. How could love heals? Like, no, love heals. Like when we're really in it. But we've got subconscious programs. So it's amazing. Yeah, so that was the moment though, June 17th, 2002, all of the things came together and it was either I was going to die with my dream inside of me or I was going to go, nope, here we go. Now we're on the path. And, as a human being, it's humbling. I'm just do my best to share it and grateful anytime someone's desiring or open or willing to participate in the conversation.
That is very, very cool. So the big idea turned out to be the Lifeline. So
Yes.
share with us the highlights. about I
Highlight.
could go on for hours about the LifeLine technique.
Gone for years for the like, but the highlights.
But yeah, share with us like some of the highlights as to why this is so important for people to implement into their lives.
Well, 90 to 98% of our consciousness. And when we talk about consciousness, we're talking about thoughts. 90 to 98% of our thoughts are below the surface. And what we know is thoughts create a reality. We don't like our reality, change our thinking, but most of our thinking is invisible. Most of our thinking, like a submarine, is subconscious. So unless we've got like a sonar or a map, or unless the submarine surfaces or shoots a torpedo, we don't even know what memories are being triggered that is showing up as migraine headaches, it's showing up as irritable bowel, that's showing up as anxious attachment, that's showing up as addiction or obsessive compulsive patterns. We don't even realize, oh, this is a pattern that was from my mom while I was 3 months in her womb. This is a pattern from my dad the moment I was conceived. This is a pattern when I was 7 and my parents got divorced. This was a pattern from when I was 9 when I was bullied in school. This is a pattern in my rotator cuff of when I whatever it might be, was driven by a pattern of thoughts that perpetuated fear. Our body reflects our mind. Most of our mind is invisible. So the essence of it is this is a step-by-step process that ultimately, step 1 all the way to step 16, guides us to create a relationship with something that is primitive and primal and based upon survival. The subconscious mind protects us in the present moment. It's like a porcupine that has quills. We've got quills. We've got reactive mass. We've got ways that we protect ourselves. We don't even know we're doing it, but we carry on these patterns. So this is a step-by-step process that ultimately allows us to create a relationship with the fear-based mind, with love, and it enables us to raise the consciousness of whatever thoughts, whatever beliefs, whatever memories, so that we can perceive in the present moment clearly versus perceiving in the present moment, not from the present, but because I'm still 4 in the moment where my mom and dad are going through whatever it might be that they're going through. We all carry these kinds of memories. Every human being on the planet does. There's no one that is immune to it. So the essence of it is a sequence of steps that anyone can learn. The youngest person to get certified in the LifeLine was 16 years of age. The eldest was in her 80s. So anyone can learn it, and it's very simple. It's very simple. This means I love you in American Sign Language. And this mudra, this hand posture, is used as a symbol to raise vibration. And we use the consciousness of infinite love and gratitude as a means to harmonize patterns of thought, of feeling, of behavior. It's, yeah, I mean, ask me whatever specific questions about it, but rather than going on a tangent, the aspect of it is based upon whatever somebody's got going on. Somebody comes on in, I've been diagnosed with the disease. I've got this pain in my body. I've got this stressful relationship with my business partner, with my wife, with my kids, with my dad, with my mom, whatever it might be. And that becomes a beginning point. And then we go into the subconscious essence and we raise that vibration. And then whatever we started with at the end of it, and the session's like, a session could be 20 minutes, could be an hour and a half. But as a result of going through the process, from subtle aspects of stress to real shock and trauma, we no longer have the same perception because we've shifted the subconscious program. That's the essence of it, if that made sense.
Totally. Now, for people who haven't got into the program yet, and is there something that people could do right now that's practical, that they implement into their daily routines that lets them tap into their subconscious to let
Sure.
them become more healthy and self-healing? What are the things that they can do on a daily basis?
one thing they can do on a daily basis is literally just, I mean, this is a simple aspect of it because we use kinesiology, muscle reflex testing. So I'm not going to be teaching kinesiology here because it's a whole other way of reading the nervous system. That aspect of taking the deep dive won't happen from our conversation. However, if you literally just, you're in a moment and you think about something or someone that causes you stress. You're thinking about a person or a situation or decision you need to make. You think about your taxes, whatever it might be that's causing you stress. And you just take a deep breath and you literally get into the mantra and you just say to yourself, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude. I mean, I'm telling you, just stay with it. And what ends up happening is as you do that, and it's not just a process interrupt, a distraction, you're literally raising the vibration of whatever that is. You don't have specificity. What I love is like, if you and I were in a session right now and you're like, yeah, I got this going on, we can immediately get to the root of whatever pattern is. We can raise that vibration. That's a deeper level. I can't teach that, but I could guide somebody through that in a very simple way. So simple. But literally, I mean, that would be the simplest thing to do. Yeah, that'd be the simplest thing to do. There's other things like just, hey, would I choose to feel this way? And the answer is like, no, I don't choose to have a headache. I don't choose to be anxious. I don't choose to be angry, but I am feeling that way. That's not action. That's reaction. That's your subconscious mind. Get into your heart. What does my heart desire to feel? I desire to feel calm. I desire to feel confident, infinite love and gratitude. So literally just asking yourself, would I choose to feel any level of pain, fear, and stress? The answer is always hell no. And then going on into your heart, what does my heart desire to feel? Oh, I desire to feel playful and joyful. I am playful and joyful. And for love and gratitude. And for love and gratitude. So there's little things that we can do that allow us. If people really want to have something that gives them some for transformation. I do a group healing circle every week, 6 p.m. Central in Chicago, 6 p.m. It's an hour and a half process. If you go to my website, you can get 2 weeks for free, and then you can really check out like what it's like, what the process is like, and that would be a great way to experience it. And then from there, you'll pick up a lot of unique things, which will make a lot of sense.
No, a lot of what you shared there was the mindset.
Yeah.
Being into the right mindset to be positive, to be loving, to be caring, to be healing, to feel a certain way. And that is something that's required for them to do on a daily basis at the beginning before things happen. When things happen, you can also apply it to try and calm that down and get back to that state of mind. So let's say that the mind part is, okay, we're good. I want to feel this way. I want to feel healing. I want to feel love. But then sometimes the body isn't there. You are a highly energetic person, based on the conversation we're having now. So then what do you do on a daily basis for your body in order to live up to what your mind wants to do?
Well, it's a practice versus a perfect. And it's actually the 16th step of the LifeLine, which is the acts of self-love, which are every day, stay hydrated. Every day, let food be your medicine. The quantity, quality, and frequency of the food that you're eating is either going to poison you or heal you. Moving your body, exercising your body, going for a walk, dancing, yoga, weights, sleep. When you sleep is when you heal. Expressing your emotions, water, food, rest, exercise, own your power. These are 5 things that we can do consciously to be proactive. Yet, I know so many people that I'm eating healthy, I'm meditating, I do my mirror exercise, I've got a gratitude journal, I get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, but still, I wake up with anxiety and my body's still speaking to me with allergies. What's going on? You cannot you cannot outrun your subconscious mind. So even though you're doing conscious things, the conscious mind does not control the subconscious mind. It's about creating a relationship with the subconscious mind. So there's a process here that even like, yes, be proactive, be positive, sure, be optimistic. Yet I'm being positive, I'm being optimistic, and I still got it going on. That means that there's a protective, I call it a spear protection reflex. There's a reflex in the consciousness of our energy field, of our life force, that unless we get to that, that pattern will stay in motion until it's met by another force. So, for example, trauma, real trauma. Trauma, a traumatic incident is so intense on its own, but what makes trauma really brutal is that it's not the trauma itself, it's that a part of ourself is unable to process it. So here I was in a car accident, but here I am. It's not me that can't process it. I've got a 5-year-old memory that's not able to process it. The 5-year-old memory, integrate that, process that memory, and then the trauma that you're currently in begins to evolve. So there's aspects of ourself that as much as we're being positive and optimistic and doing these proactive things, when the subconscious mind is ready to evolve you, it will evolve you. Everyone is humbled by its process, no matter how much we have done for ourselves in a proactive way.
That's very, very true. Now, you mentioned at the very beginning that there's more and more people who are susceptible to this idea. More and more people who are willing to try out different things. And there's
Yeah.
also a lot of people out there who's talking about these things.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to weed through the duds. How does one go, okay, this is the right one for me, this person's the right expert for me, or oh, this person doesn't really know what they're talking about. How do you sift through all that information?
You just got to have your own experience. I mean, that's why we in the Lifeline Center give people an opportunity. If people have questions, they can reach out. We'll talk to them. You can go through a free process for 2 weeks so that you can really make a decision that really resonates with you. Like, whoa, there's something to this. You can read books. It's like it's just about being curious. But there's a lot of noise in the world, and there's a lot of people that are doing things. Some of it is really great work, and some of it is noise.
Hmm.
And so, but there's something for everybody. And just be open to it. Ask questions. So yeah, you want to have if you're like, I want to understand my subconscious mind. I want to have a step-by-step, rational, relevant way of doing this. Because this is, we can go into meditation, we can chill out, we can just allow our hearts to open and just be in the creativity of it. But I've got a mechanistic mind. I like to know that this leads to that, this leads to that. I want to know that I can teach somebody to reproduce an outcome for themselves or for another person as a coach or a doctor or practitioner.
Very, very true. Now the thing that for people out there who is looking to like experience that feeling of being one, are you able to articulate how what's that feel like for people who's never experienced it before?
How do you explain the taste of ice cream to somebody who's never tasted ice cream? How do you explain what a rainbow is like for someone who's never seen a rainbow? The first time you fall in love or you kiss someone for the first time and you're like, oh my God. How do you explain that? It's impossible to explain it, really. It's an impossible thing. Can't explain it.
Hmm.
You ever see the movie The Matrix?
Yeah.
In The Matrix, they say nobody can be told what the Matrix is. You have to experience it for yourself. It's the same. It's the same with, like, what does it mean to be in a state of enlightenment where your heart is open and your body is giving you a full yes, and every cell is in a state of coherence? What is that like? I mean, that's it's orgasmic and extraordinary and beautiful and wonderful and pleasurable and yet everybody experiences pain, fear, and stress as well. It's a practice.
Right.
But yeah, how do I describe it? I have no idea how to describe it to somebody that has
I,
no idea.
I think the way that you were trying to explain right there, the facial expressions that you were giving already kind of explains, okay, this is how a person would feel if they knew what it felt like. And
Yeah.
you kind of articulated very well there. Now that then all this stuff then led to a few books and also opportunities to be on film and documentaries. Share with us some of those experiences and also how do people get those get that content?
Oh, cool. When I realized, hold on a second. When I realized that after a month of waking up to the LifeLine technique, I had Tom do a blood study with somebody. And he did a dark field microscopy, took their blood, and I did a LifeLine session. And then that took like 40 minutes. And then we took their blood and their blood changed. And it was at that point that I saw like, whoa, consciousness changed the structure of blood. How does that happen? I realized I needed to write books. So I wrote my first book, which is called The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude. And that explained the LifeLine technique, the philosophy and science, but it didn't teach it. So I was fortunate enough to have Louise Hay from Hay House reach out to me and said, I love your work, but you don't say how to do the LifeLine technique. And I'm like, well, most people don't know that infinite love and gratitude is a universal healing frequency. And she's like, well, I do. And she asked me to be a Hay House author. And so then I wrote my second book, Awakening to the Secret Code of Your Mind, which starts to explain the steps of how to do this. This is a great beginning of learning it, but there's a whole other deeper level of the certification program that goes on it. And then my last book, well, not my last book, but my third book was The Heart of the Matter, which is teaching people how to process emotions, how to move through the black holes of the mind. My fourth book was the children's book, The Daily Lessons. And then, what a blessing that as a result of it helping people have reached out, like you, and said, hey, I want to have you in a documentary. I want to have you in a film. I'm like, wow, that's so incredible. I feel so grateful and lucky and blessed to be able to share my passion and my purpose. And so people can find my books anywhere through Amazon, online, or you can find out more about what I do on my website, which is thelifelineCenter.com, the Lifeline Center, and it's CENTERTER.com. And on there, what I would encourage everyone is to sign up for the free healing circle and experience that, because then you'll know. Then you can have your own internal experience and go, well, this is either it doesn't resonate with me, or like, wow, I'm so grateful that Fong had Dr. D on, and what a cool thing that this is. That's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. My final question, formal question for you is this. You've gone through so many different experiences. You've gone through so many life-changing events. You've also helped a lot of different people achieve healing, happiness, and whatnot. For you, what was the most profound thing that you were either recommended to try out to do in order for you to achieve that state of mind of either consciousness, happiness, healing? Something that you go, wow, once I first heard that, it sounded ridiculous, but then you tried it. What was that most profound thing that you've tried?
Well, I don't know how if I can even answer that one as well, but because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. I mean, one was just discovering chiropractic, which I knew nothing about. And I was studying pre-med, and my brother was in a car accident, and he's like, he went the medical route. It didn't help him. He found a chiropractor. The chiropractor totally straightened him out, no pun intended. And he's like, Darren, check out chiropractic. That was one thing. I checked it out, changed my life. Then I met a guy named Dr. Ray Wei Chi, who was an MD, chiropractor, acupuncturist from China. And he taught me about chi and life force and the meridians and the elements. And that was like, oh my goodness. And so I started studying that. And then I meet a guy named Lord Pandit Professor Sir Dr. Anton Jayasuriya from Sri Lanka. And I heard him speak, and I've never heard anyone speak so comprehensively on so many different subjects that I went over to Sri Lanka and I studied for months with him, a couple of years in a row. And I learned all the eclectic, unique ways from biogeometry and working within pyramids to magnetotherapy to homeopathic medicine to all different kinds of things. So there's been so many different things to understanding the essence of neurolinguistic programming and the nature of the mind and trauma and EMDR. I just, I feel so lucky to be open and to be curious and to be skeptical, to keep asking questions. And so, but I've got so many of those situations that have like sparked and ignited me to continue to emerge. I continue just to study every day. I'm reading something and going through different things that really keep me humble and on the path of just doing my best. Power that creates us, brother, is the power that heals us. I'm not the healer. The body knows how to heal. Our consciousness is intended to be love, but it shows up as fear and anger and stress and sadness and overwhelm. And those reactive emotions are love the best way it knows how to express itself. So when we're in a reactive state, it's like we end up realizing, wait a second, this is the best a part of us can do. So, there's just been so many moments that I feel very fortunate to be able to embrace discipline, persistence, commitment, that it passionately led me to know that the simplicity of healing is about love. The profundity is that it's about love. Like,
Awesome.
wow, in our world today where people are so crazy and in their separateness and fighting and it's so sad. And at the same time, that's the journey that we're on as human beings, that to really wake up. Will faith and fear from a collective standpoint come together at one point? I truly believe that it will. I truly believe that we as human beings have the ability to create a massive transformation on this planet. Hunger, the aspect of global warming, we have the ability and the intelligence and the love to create huge shift. And it's a process, one person at a time. It's like you and me right now.
Awesome stuff. Sounds like a wonderful virtual mic drop right there. So nicely said. Before I end this conversation, I got five quick rapid fire questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. You're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence. So you'll still be healthy, you'll still be fit. What's that one food?
Mango.
Mangoes. Always the people who say fruit are usually the healthy ones. Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, Dr. Darren, we would love to do a biopic of you. Who would you cast to play you?"
I'd like to play myself.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
if you get to choose a co-star, anybody out there, who would you have as your co-star?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, I should have guessed that. You mentioned Matrix a few times. Reeves shows up at your door and goes, "Hey, buddy, I got cast to play XYZ, your best friend, whatever. Let's hang out, let's get to know each other." What does that night out look like with you and Keanu Reeves?
Having a great meal, a nice bottle of wine, and just having an incredible conversation, laughter, going to maybe go to a great jazz pub in Chicago and seeing good music and just having a fun friend experience with just another person who's just seems like to be an awesome person.
Nice. You're on a road trip, hours on end. Apparently, there's only one song that plays over and over and over again. What's that one song that you don't mind listening to?
Oh, wow. Um, what is it called? Um, what is that guy's name?
You can always sing it.
Follow the Xavier Rudd. Xavier Rudd, Follow the Sun.
I'll have to look that up. Haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
And final question, before I get there, give me a number from one to five.
3.
One, two, three. So the word is photo album. If you had to use photo album as a metaphor for success, how is success like a photo album?
Say it again.
How is success like a photo album?
How is success like a photo album? Well, because it ultimately gives us a reflection of these snippets of our life that just capture these beautiful moments that are frozen in time as a result of capturing it. It's the beauty from a moment where I'm just thinking of myself like hugging my eldest daughter. I've got 3 kids, or my new puppy, or my mom, who I'm so grateful is still on this planet, and or being out with my brothers. Capturing these moments in a photo album, it makes me emotional. It's so beautiful. But
Wow.
that's success. That's life.
Nicely, that's how success is like a photo album. Thank you very much for your time. You gave us a lot of great nuggets of wisdom and knowledge and all that great stuff, and showed us the importance of why people need to be in tune with their self-consciousness and also their self-healing as well. Again, how do people get in touch with you, and any final words from you?
People get in touch. Thank you first and foremost. This was a lot of fun, and People can get in touch with me at my website, which is thelifelineCenter.com, the life, L-I-F-E, line, L-I-N-E, center, CENTER.com. And check it out. Check out the Healing Circle. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our team will get back to you. And last bits, like a last thing to express would be that no matter where you are as your starting point, so whether you have been a seasoned veteran, you've been on the path for a long time, just be open, be curious. Maybe there's something here that, is going to take you to another level. If you are at the beginning of this journey, welcome. And I encourage you to leap and the net will appear. The universe loves you, and just to keep shining bright.
Awesome stuff. Once again, he's Dr. Darren. My name is Fong. Make sure you connect with him. And until next time, today is the day to unlock peak potential. We'll see you later.